back in 1982, 83. This ain't new. Everybody on YouTube just seeing me for the first time, they think that I just popped on the scene. I got gray hairs, my back is hurting. I'm talking to people for the last damn near 30 years on the same subject. I was the one who put together the sacred woman with her fool. And all the sisters bought that book. I wrote the 12 principles of the sacred woman. We put together programs that help literally tens of thousands of people to heal themselves. Where's your credentials? This is history here, and we were making it, not talking about it.
Right.
This is my sainted mother here. That's her soul. She passed on. And usually when you see the people lined up for the pictures, it's because they couldn't wait around. Usually there's like 30 or 40 more, 50 more people that left. We did this continuously. Constantly teaching, constantly giving the people the help and you have not seen it until a woman sitting on a toilet passes a fibroid tube. I've been there. You have not seen it until a woman takes her breast cancer and brings it to you in a towel because what we told her to do brought the cancerous material to the surface. It burst through like a pimple, and she brought it to show that the work was righteous. You have not heard it yet when 35 women offered to have me as the godfather of their children because these 35 women were told by doctors that they could not conceive. Accountability. These people here, this brother was on crack. He got off. 40-day fast. This woman was at least 50 pounds bigger. She took the 40-day fast and went on to the 80-day fast. All this woman here had a cancerous tumor in her uterus, gone after 40 days. And I walked and sat at the feet of the masters. It is this honorable saint of a man that told me what I was. He said, "You are a polymath." When I told him I knew a whole lot of things and didn't concentrate on anything, he said, "Well, if you know that, you are called," and his own, "You are a polymath." We were there. Afu and I were there helping him. Right before he started going blind. Before the politicians with the slick hair came to grab him up for the photo shoots and began isolating us away from him. We were there to clean Queen Mother Moore's house when they left her there abandoned in her home. We were the ones that fed her. But everybody was just carting her out to show her, take pictures, and then throw her back into that isolated room. We were there. Yes, this was my home. We stood with giants. One of the most powerful brothers, Neely Fuller. This was at the gathering of the masters too. And this brother here, Brother Kevin Jackson, you need to get to know him because he went bankrupt doing Gathering of the Masters too, to put it on. And nobody down here came. As soon as they found out who was going to be at that hotel, Reverend T.D. Snakes, 1 week after that, booked another hotel, right before it. Brother Kwekuanda, his father and he wrote the thesis that became a course in Oxford University on herbs and exotic herbs. Dr. Gabriel Oyibo, the man who subsumed Einstein's theory. My good friend. And of course you know the inimitable brother Dr. Jeffries himself at the Gathering of the Masters. We were there. I held more lectures for women and about women in our space. This is my home. And again, another 50 women had to leave because to get all the setup for the pictures, it was too much time for them to stay. And of course, you see my daughter down here sitting in the here. This was the Cosmic Mother Symposium. Keynote speaker, Iyanla Vanzant. Accountability. And I had to go dig up in the pictures I had. Most of my pictures are up here in New York. And you think that I did not work with the Nation of Islam? I was very close with brothers and sisters in the Nation of Islam because I'm the one who held the symposium for Sister Shahrazad Ali with the Fruit of Islam right here. I was packing the 357 because of who it was that was speaking. Right there. You see, I don't know how to dress like a European. Look at the fucking shoes I had. I had to front it. But at the end, she said that that particular symposium that we held downtown at Manhattan Community College was the most civil, the most organized, and it was the most wonderful thing she had ever experienced when she was on the road with that book. And after that, she would tell me, please come with me. Every time she was on Sally Jesse Raphael or Donahue, she would ask me to escort her. That woman is dynamic, super intelligent. Now this is a typical gathering of the masters, and I want you to watch with Bobby Hemmitt. When Bobby Hemmitt came up, or when Rowdy Martin came in, we had some of the weirdest people that nobody ever knew about. Now I want you to look at the people. It's like, you ever see how they take pictures of people watching a horror movie? Check my man in the middle with his popcorn. He just knew his bag was, he wasn't going to take his eyes off it. Look at the eyes, the attention.
Right.
And you know my house, it went, and Mookie was here, Alan was there, it went out into the backyard. We had to put monitors there. It was in the front of the streets. Cars would be double parked for 3 blocks. The police would have to come to find out what's going on here. Church. We would start at 3 in the afternoon and end at 7 in the morning. Gathering of the Masters for the 7 years was the most potent place for the acceleration and the amplification of consciousness in Brooklyn at that time. Accountability. I got your accountability for you right here. This was what I had helped to design. A brother named Kybalion built the table for me according to specs. These Merkabas are Merkabas that I hooked up at one of the fairs that they had in Manhattan. I met up with this Italian boy who was a plumber turned metaphysician. And he used to use the copper pipes. So I said, could you make me a Merkaba? And I gave him the specs. That was my altar. That was the spiritual engine of the home that kept me in there 7 years. and kept the courts at bay for 7 years. I created this, and he and his wife and his helper made a picture of it for me to show me the specifications that he had made according to my design. And in the corner he sees that I created these sonic chakra crystal removers. And they are tuning forks at the end with nothing but either liquid crystal or ground up crystals of different types inside to match the 12 tissue salts in the body. And now on the net I see this design. That's mine, bro! And here we are during the Agnihotra ceremony, when we would burn the Agnihotra doing ritual. Oh yeah, hell yeah, we did ritual. We did ritual. Yes, and when we burnt the fire, brother told me, he said, listen, I want to come take pictures of the fire because every time you chanted, something happened to the fire. And I want to stop frame this to see if my eyes were looking at what I thought I was seeing. So he came with his camera, and when I was doing the chants, this nature stepped out of the flame. And he froze it, sitting down with the crown of Hemmitt. That ain't camera tricks. It ain't airbrushed. And that's in the middle of the living room. Fire that high, reaching the ceiling. And I was instrumental in helping to bring both of the communities together. That is, the metaphysical community and the nationalist community. The go-between, to tell them that we were both in this together. That there is a think tank that we need to create. One to do the action in the streets, one to be the mindset, the think tank, the way they set up think tanks in the background so that we would be able to feed you information on strategy as well as what the times look like. And yes, I've been there on the nationalist tip because there I am at an ABC interview, or when they had an interview, or after they had shot this brother in Brooklyn. Alambe asked me to be on the panel as a minister. And yes, I am Amor. You can hate me if you want, but I ain't one of your own first more. I'm not playing it out there like more. You don't got to do that.
Right.
I went up there. I was invited by the council to come up there as a special guest to be nationalized. Why? Because I wasn't accountable? And just recently, my good brother, Elihu Pleasant Bay, sent me this. Why? Because I haven't been doing what I have been doing in the community. I have not been righteous. No man, religion, politics, philosophy, ideology, scholarship, or ism is higher than truth. And I don't care what you wear, what you call yourself, if you do not live by those creeds, then you are a slave. Beloved, all fundamentalist religions, in one way or another, are the enemies of reason and progressive free thinking. They create faith-based artificial grievances that incite people to hate one another. Our people, in fact the entire species, need no additional reasons to hate and commit violence against one another, brother. Free-thinking, holistic societies with equality under natural law and the right of free access to information in the pursuit of truth, justice, and peace are threatened or attacked by those who believe they and only they know the one and only wrathful truth of God. Such irrational interpretations to certain religious texts hinder the progress of humanity and threaten the safety and freedom of everyone concerned. Conceptualized religious thought, as practiced by adherents of orthodox belief structures, can carry their ecclesiastical beliefs to dangerous extremes. Those who believe they absolutely know the will of God are dangerous. A holy woman named Rabia al-Adwiya once said, it is a bad servant who serves God from fear and terror, or from desire or reward. Yet these are the very reasons given by religious leaders of the Abrahamic triad for obedience to their scriptures. Collectively, humanity will achieve peace, prosperity, and a better understanding of our God selves and the nature of our existence in the universe. However, if we continue to believe and propagate the notion that only we and those who share our beliefs absolutely know the ultimate truth of God already and are justified in threatening or supporting criminal actions because of our blind adherence to man-made creeds, we will impede humanity's progress towards transcendence and cosmic self-enlightenment while destroying everything that our Kushite, Kemetic, Dravidian ancestors worked so hard to achieve, preserve, and pass on to us. Know this, brothers and sisters. No man, religion, politics, philosophy, ideology, scholarship, or ism is higher than truth. I don't care what you call yourself. Truth is higher than anything that you could make. And the pursuit of truth is what it is everything. If you do not pursue truth, then you are pursuing the lie. And if you pursue the lie, where do you end up? Looking for the truth. The problem is that we don't know the difference. Okay? But here's something else as we go forward and we call Brother Bobby Hemmitt forward. This, brothers and sisters, is the United Future World Currency, just introduced by President Medvedev at a conference of Asia that the United States was not invited to. We're in trouble. They're about to devalue the dollar to the point, like Sister Myra been telling you. And we are going to crash sometime around September or October. And they're not going to be boring up the debt. Why? Because every time they fund the debt, the United States uses that debt to field soldiers to kill them. So they said, no, the way to destroy the United States is to destroy the currency and to create the value back in their hands. So they are not going to fund their own destruction. Brothers and sisters, I would want to say to you, I'd like to say to you at this time, thank you very much for coming forward. Very much. Again, if I have insulted or I have caused anyone any pain by this particular rendition, then my heart goes out to you. There is no intention at viciousness. I do not have any time to play those kind of mind games. I love my brothers and sisters no matter what they call themselves, and I am now going to be dealing with what it is that we've inherited, not what we were born into, what we inherited as a result of our diasporic experience in the West. Is Bobby Hemmitt still here?
Yeah.
Brother Bobby Hemmitt, please come down.
One thing, we are going to get kicked out of here. It's late. So please, the more intelligent questions to the forefront.
Thank you. Right? No dialogue.
All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all right. Okay. I know you all were here yesterday for Brother Bobby's, and y'all must have gone home, marinated, and y'all got something to ask the brother, or you have something to ask of us about the condition and circumstance? My brother? Fire away. Yes, brother.
I just wanted to say thank you, Brother AA, Brother RA from Boston. Phil invited me down. Thank you so much for putting all this together. Brother Phil, talking about the media and the misinformation and miseducation, are you willing to address us calling ourselves God? The media will not teach us or share with us that you as a black man, I as a black man, we can address ourselves as God. Can we? Should we? Does the media? How do you feel about that?
I don't care about the media. Media is, if you look at the fact that the media itself is from Medea, the goddess of illusion, and they took the name Medea from media from her. And if you look at the fact that a black man is dressing up like a woman, calling himself Medea, I don't care about the media. I do care about understanding who it is that I am, and I know Bobby agrees with me in this, that who we are as gods and who do we define ourselves makes us gods. So we define our reality, and God is the one defining the reality. So if God provides us the materials for us to define the reality, we must be something like Kiss and Kins, because we're defining the reality. And they don't want us to call ourselves gods, because then we don't take the responsibility. We look to them for them to take care of us. Brother Bobby?
Well, it's like anything else. You must declare yourself a God, but you must also define what that is too. Because calling ourselves gods, we've been doing that since the 60s with 5% of them. You know what I'm saying? So this is nothing new. You see, so you have to, not only do you have to declare yourself that, you have to dig deep into finding out what is the path of becoming that. And it's basically just, it's not a lot of hard work, it's just a matter of, your thought. What is a God? Obviously a God sometimes wouldn't necessarily do the things a human would do. So, and what that would mean, if you would break that down to the least common denominators, you just got to start thinking out of the box. You got to start thinking creative, especially now with the way the economy is going and where everything else. People going, I don't know how to make it. Well, you just got to become creative in the particular aspect is, all this stuff we've been hearing the last 8 months, that don't apply to us. You see what I'm saying? A depression or a recession, you know what I'm saying? We've been there. So we got to, so in so many words, we got the upper hand in this thing. You know, we got the upper hand in this thing as far as being creative. And you know what that means. I think a lot of black men understand that when it comes to that. The simple fact here is, and this thing happened in a phenomenon in the last 20 years where they stepped to people and said, your woman was on welfare, so you got to pay us back this money. You see what I'm saying? Anybody hearing about this, you know, you got to pay this money back for some welfare that somebody received in 1983 or 1978. And you was thinking, well, I thought welfare was your inalienable right. Yeah, if you were a citizen. You see what I'm saying? If you were, you know, but not a what you call 13th Amendment slave or whatever it's called, Amendment slave. So then they said, well, what we're going to do? They said, well, I can't work under Social Security or whatever. So we just got to get creative. So a lot of brothers had to actually go and quit their jobs. You see what I'm saying? Because after they got through, they was giving them like $7 a week. After they, you know, they quit their jobs to go get creative. And I think that has a lot to do. That's a very low aspect of getting creative, but I'm just trying to say at this particular time, when Denzel Washington said in the movie, "We can do this, we can make it, we've been this way before." You know, in the movie, what was the movie? No, the one where they blew up the bus. Siege. Yeah. So I think that has a lot to do with it too, as far as getting creative with it. So you got to put a lot of stuff in practice. You see what I'm saying? We've been doing the lip service for years. You see what I'm saying? Doing the lip service for years. Case in point, one other thing, I don't want to hog up anything.
Go ahead, take your time.
It's just like one brother stepped out. I told him to put the. He said that he heard on one of the tapes. I told him to take his landlord's. I'll take a card, and I actually got this from Shabazz. Got it from Shabazz, and I think his woman told him what to do. Is take a card, write the landlord name on it, take it and put it in a plastic cup, put the cup in the water, and put it in the freezer. And on the card you put under the landlord name, chill out. And it worked. So the brother stepped to me today and said, "Man, it's been 2 months and I ain't heard from him." I said, "You right about 2 months, but what I forgot to tell him is it starts to break down after that 3rd month. You don't have to do it again." But it does work, so you just got to be creative.
Not acting like yes. Quickly.
Okay, when you was talking about the chemicals that cause our children, to be phaggotized and what have you, one of the things that came to mind was the prenatal vitamins that they push the women take the prenatals. I was wondering.
That could be too, yes. We have not investigated or actually broken down the constituent parts of that prenatal regimen. And if it does contain estrogenic materials or what we call endocrine disruptors, then that would be a serious case. That's a good point. We should look into that.
And how do we avoid these things, like you said, that was in the plastic? It seems like it's all over the place and everything. So how do we empower young women who are pregnant to avoid those things?
We got to catch them at the time when we don't have our young people's ears anymore, because the authority has turned to the iPod, it has turned to the television. You don't look to your mother as them. Your mother and your father become your friends. You have to be your mother and a father first. And then after that, they have come to the age of reason, and then they understand why you were the way you were for them, to be strict and to bring them up that way correctly. Then you could be their friends, because now they're not as crazy as this Negro I showed you he was. He's off his rocker. So what you have to do is you have to have discipline, but when you reach out to them, you have to reach them where they are and bring them where you are. So some people think they need to reach the young people there and stay there.
Right.
Young people are looking for guidance.
Right.
And they want you to come to them. They want to talk to you. But the thing is that they've been taught to hate you. They made you believe that you don't know what you're talking about. You see.
One more thing. I found with recent experience that even the elder women, I'm talking women in their 60s, who've been completely indoctrinated, are telling our young girls stuff like, give your baby formula, it's okay to have a C-section and stuff like that.
They don't know any better.
How do we,
It's very difficult for us to do that, because you have to mount a campaign. And to mount a campaign means people got to stop what they're doing and be funded to do that. And it's very difficult. Each one got to reach one, each one teach one, and not everyone is supposed to know this. You got to reach the people where they are. And the people like us who know it, who are here, you have no idea what kind of change that we are initiating into the mindset of people. Now with YouTube, this thing has gone crazy. I'm getting calls from around the world that I didn't believe, it's insane. Which is good, but we don't, listen, it isn't the majority that changes, it's the minority that changes. It isn't the majority that's effing up the planet, it's the minority that's messing up the planet. So it's a minority that will take to change it. So don't worry about getting everybody involved. The Revolutionary War was fought by like 1/6 of the population, the rest of them were eating at picnics, watching the battle. This is not how it's going to be. This is a war here.
One thing has come full circle when he mentioned about the plastics. Now, Valentine made that hypothesis back in the 90s, and one thing, if you want to start with your diet, is the tofu, which makes plastic.
True that.
You see what I'm saying? The tofu, soybeans, they used to make plastic from it. So when Valentine said that the tofu turned men gay or rose up the estrogen, that's one of, if you want to start with one thing, that would be one of the
Get rid
main
of the formulas.
things. Yeah.
That baby formula that has the phytoestrogen.
But the funny thing about it is if you look now, soy is in everything.
Yeah. Since 1951 they put it in.
It's in everything. I mean, you ketchup, anything,
And they are definitely causing, the endocrine disruptors are all in the community now. Especially now in the water system, which you bathe in. Because remember, the women on the pills, they said, when they urinate, that estrogen does not filter out during that what do you call it process where they run it through it. The estrogen stays intact. So the estrogen in the urine of women are filtering back into our communities.
In the water system.
In the water systems. Yes, brother.
Yes, sir. Two things. One, speaking about the children in these cartoons, I tried one time cutting the sound on the cartoon and sitting and watching my grandkids as we sitting there, and I'm saying to them, you see how you act now. There's no longer the words that explain the story, but now they begin to see all that kookiness what they be doing. And the second thing, can you respond to the about the tomato, the foreign substance that's in the tomato? Because it's only I know tomato is served every place, all places.
They're using fish genes, and they're using other kinds of genes, Arctic fish genes, in order to preserve it for freezing when they conduct it. They're traveling across the country for market, and they got other things in there as well in order for it to grow in different regions. Okay, so the food back in 2000, Bobby and I did the Gathering of the Masters, and I talked about something called nanogenetic mind control, where they don't have to chip you no more. What they're going to do is change your food, because when you eat, you are communicating with nature. The food has specific markers from the cosmos that are filtered in as information on light waves. The trees themselves orient their produce around the light code transmissions. When you eat, you are getting information secondhand that is actually changing your DNA to match the cosmic imperative that the earth is getting ready to go through. That's why we're not prepared, because they've circumvented the communication between the cosmos and Mother Nature. We don't have a connection with nature anymore.
So, just one more thing. So, in other words, we eating a serpent food?
Serpent?
Yeah. Low frequency.
Low frequency energy, yeah, food, yeah. Because it's keeping us in the threat. Remember, when you eat, your DNA is using the DNA markers of the fruit in order to produce its consciousness. So when it starts creating the, what is the pre-protein? Amino acids, they are supposed to grow as little crystals along the DNA, and what happens is these little amino acid crystals are picking up light wave frequencies and sound frequencies to bring information to the DNA. When you put food in there that don't have no seeds, then there's no information, because the seeds carry the information. So what are you eating? Frankenfood.
And one way you can offset that is you got to watch who you eat things around. They have gotten, the modern culture is basically, most of them eat out. You see what I'm saying? And I just realized something. I'm sitting here and I'm I haven't said grace since I've been conscious. I don't know how long that is. When you're conscious, you try to reject all the stuff when you was dead. But I'm sitting there and I'm seeing these people say grace, and I'm saying, oh, how alien this is. And then the Spirit said, well, the real meaning behind grace was not based on thanking the Lord for this garbage. It was to actually neutralize the food and fortify the food so that you can take it in. So we got to get back to saying grace. Now, it don't necessarily have to be Jesus or whatever if you ain't into that, but some kind of mantra. You see what I'm saying? Or whatever your Spirit tells you to do. But one of the things here is, if anybody's your enemy, you don't need to eat around them. You see what I'm saying? You don't want to eat. And that's one of the things to offset some of these things, that you're going to have to take control of what environment you're in when you are eating.
Is this chick going to kill us? If the chicken don't pay up, damn chicken alone. If the chicken, them gospel bird is set up in such a way now where there ain't no chicken. This brother told me something about, what was that he said again about this dude? Check this story out.
Brother Whitaker, Dr. Whitaker said that he had a friend that worked at the Kentucky Fried Chicken headquarters. So he said they sent them out to get the chicken from whatever the plant of the, wherever they right after they kill them or whatever. When they get the chicken, he said this guy had to go and put on a rubber suit, rubber gloves, just like you're going to pick up toxic waste.
Yep.
He had to put on a rubber helmet and something. When they brought the chicken out, it had a skull and crossbones on the packet.
Okay? They radiated the bad boy. So now you are eating irradiated foods. Now when you're eating irradiated foods, that means that they have dysfunctioned the original information that the genes were supposed to carry to your genes. Now you are dealing with irradiated foods, which means that you have a whole new set of information for your genes. It's called cancer. Yes, brother.
I have a question.
There you go.
I noticed like the so-called health food shops and stuff like that. I have a hard time finding like grapes that have seeds in it. That's like my major battle time I'm dealing with fruits and stuff like that. And you'll go to a place that everybody knows, Whole Foods, and you say, and I see people oblivious to this, how the hell can you have organic, seedless? That's like blasphemous.
Yes,
thank you.
That's like, I know nobody that's not born with a mom or a dad. Like, how do you have grapes with no seeds? And if you
makes sense.
Same thing for watermelon.
Watermelon, yep.
I want to say one thing that I think is one of the major things is with all this, because you can get into variations, but one of the keys is you got to clean out. Now, I am the shit master. I shit 4 times a day. 3 on a bad day. And each week we clean out completely. And even with me shitting 4 times a day and cleaning out every week, there's endless amounts of shit. But one of the keys is, now can you imagine people who never clean out? And never have bowel movements? You got to think, and that's the thing about it, the bowels are not being moved. I was in Charlotte, North Carolina. Well, actually I was on a colonic table, and I was looking at the colon, and I saw anus, and the spirit said, anubis. Then when I was in Charlotte, a Morris brother came in and said, anus, anubis, anu. That is the guiding people through the underworld.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So that's, the shortcut things, you at least need to be cleaning out once a week.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
They got a 2-story, your colon is at least 2 stories high. You understand? And the amount of filth you can put in there, it'll take you 2 years to get out. And I'm talking about the fact that I know for a fact as a colon therapist that they have, one guy was supposed to go in, he was on his way to the doctor for his appendix to be taken out. His mother pleaded with him to go and get a colonic from us. When I got that boy on the table, he shit for an hour and a half. An hour and a half.
Wow.
That thing stayed straight full. And the dude was no bigger than you. And after he left and went back to the doctor 2 days later after saying they missed the schedule, they thought that something he had died. They had sent out all kind of warnings trying to find his body. He showed up, and 2 days later, his what do you call it, had shrunk because it was no longer inflamed. All right.
And see now, one other thing about that. Now you know it's got something to do with a lot of cycles and a lot of things we go through. That elimination is key. Now, like I said, I clean out once a week, but I go 3 times. I go 3 times a day or 4 times a day, and right before the time I'm supposed to clean out, that like a day before, it'll just start eliminating, just like I took some colon cleanser, some Cinnamon, or what have you. But this is what happened to me last week. I know it has something to do with the cycle while we have to clean out. After the Michael Jackson's funeral, or the memorial, I cleaned out on Thursday because I was leaving on Friday. And that entire day, I was almost incapacitated. I mean, it was almost like toxins and endless amounts of toxins. So what I'm trying to say here is, and I do this every week, but this particular one, I was almost bedridden, other than going to the bathroom. Wow. For almost 8 hours. But the key was something about that cycle. We take all types of hits psychologically, spiritually, and also it's really key. What the Spirit was sending me a message is with this whole Michael Jackson thing. You see what I'm saying? Because you're talking about a vortex of death. Because it had to be a gateway that opened up, and Farrah Fawcett went out on it. You see what I'm saying? And Ed McMahon before. So these are gateways, and you always hear that death comes in spells. There'd be a lot of people. So just to say that, when I cleaned out this time, it was extremely difficult as far as what I had to go through. So it means that if this is happening on this day, then we need to be doing this thing. I mean, every chance we can get. And the problem here is, a lot of us can't do it because we work all the time. And that's the way they do. They don't give you time to clean out.
You don't time to do anything. Build up. That brother there, we had that brother there.
Yes.
Just a quick question. I wanted either one of you to elaborate on a seemingly contrasting philosophy, whereas in the consciousness struggle, whereas the one concept is we as gods, and Bobby, I've heard you talk before. We as gods, we have a freedom, an inherent freedom to do what we want, or eat what we want, have sex how we want, and that's a different philosophy once you reach that consciousness, versus a philosophy of that we're under attack, and so there's a constant being conscious about what you eat, who you have sex with, and who you hang out with. Well, on the surface, it can seem like it's conflicting.
Well, since you put me in the scenario, I'll explain it. Usually when I'm talking about my path. My path, I used to be a vegetarian. You see what I'm saying? And my particular path, based on, and I don't necessarily think that everybody's on my same path, but I was giving you these particular philosophies and these concepts, but it was also based on my path and my research, and I'm explaining my research. Now my research is, after getting to a certain level, certain things happen, but then again, I actually died in my sleep in 2001, in the spring of 2001. So it's more of a metaphysical process. It's more of a metaphysical process of what you can do some things about. It's not necessarily wise for you to follow my path. You see what I'm saying and all, because the simple fact here is I had to go through a process for years to even get to that particular path. But basically now, if you're talking about warfare, if you're under warfare, you see what I'm saying, it is just sensible, you see what I'm saying, to proceed accordingly or what type of danger zone you in. You see what I'm saying? So in that particular case, some stuff is just common sense. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to eat this and you don't need to eat that. So I want to tell you to take as an example. That's a whole different path. But when we're talking about warfare, especially the course what he's talking about, and we're talking about the chemtrails and the different things, that is just common sense. You see what I'm saying? To just, do what you know you need to do.
Peace, family. I'm disturbed at certain things in regards to hearing that Dr. Khalid died broke. Dr. Ben is suffering the way he's suffering. Queen Mother Moore, whom I interviewed on my television show years ago. My grandfather was 99 years, now turning 100, was a friend of Marcus Garvey. I'm saying this because the conscious community needs something like a BMI or ASCAP to bring residuals to these people that are dying broke, where they can get residuals at least every 3 to 6 months. From their DVDs or CDs. I know I've sold Khalid CDs and DVDs when I was in the Nation of Islam, and I know he didn't get any money from them. Personally, when I was in the nation, I know this, and that needs to be established amongst all. I'm King Simon. Those who don't know, that needs to be established. because I've been in this movement since I was 14, under the 5%, then went to the Ansar, and then went to the Nation, and it's full circle here. It's family. But they have, the Minister Farrakhan has established his residuals.
Yes, he did.
And you cannot just go and sell his tapes.
No, you can't.
Somebody else step. But in this conscious community, I'm saying it to all of us, that we need to establish this type of BMI or ASCAP. You and I talk.
You make a very good point, because what I tried to tell people, and thank you very much for that, because that's very important. We don't work. Bobby and I don't work. We live our lives reading and researching in order to bring information to you from another perspective. A lot of people, they poo-poo and they debunk the metaphysical underground. The reason why is because they can't get next to it. They don't understand the mindset it takes to even begin to start processing what it is that we do. And the thing is that we don't live today. We're not working for today. That's why we ain't getting paid today. This is tomorrow's work. This is tomorrow's university. And even though we don't have it sophisticated as yet, someone is going to take up where Bobby and I and Delbert and Jewel and begin to carry this forward as a torch. But this will be like the Alexandrian Library. And let me just go ahead and take this time out to big up a man who has, if not the biggest tape collection on African contemporary history in the world. And that's Brother Clemson Brown.
He has also suffered the same fate as the people you talk about, Dead and Clark and all of that.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? This stuff is all over the world.
You're all over the world.
And believe me, most of the Afrocentric stuff you see was literally produced through him.
That's right.
But he has suffered, you know what I'm saying, the same fate. So you're looking at one of the people that's right on, you see, right in that path of not getting anything.
And let me just go ahead and bring this forward to you. I was thinking, and I'm going to get to both of you brothers, I was thinking that all the brothers, that's the street soldiers, who are out there promoting and pushing and using our tapes to pay their rent and so forth, I don't care about that, because the information we know needs to get out. But in the Garvey movement, you don't starve the goose that's going to give you the eggs that you need to sell. You need to feed the goose. And what happens, I was thinking, that if you know, because you brothers who are out there booting this stuff, you all sell this in groups, and you push it off to this one, and that one sells to this one, and you all, there is a very sophisticated network because it goes all around the world. Now, if that's the case, why don't you all flush down the tubes that you all would then put together once a month, $10, $20. And out of the 3 to 4, maybe 6, 7, maybe 1,000 of the brothers sisters across the country selling the tapes would put $10 down, and like a susu, a rotation susu, pick out the 5 or 10 people you think are actually serving the community's best interest and pass that along. So that we don't have to work at something else to eat while we're trying to study for you. It makes sense to just have a rotating susu. $10, you spend off and buy off more crap and shit with more money than that. Just put aside something to keep the war effort going. Because once this shit hits the fan, and it's about to, all of us, we gone.
That's right.
Now either they're going to take us out, take us in, or we going underground. I'm choosing the latter.
Taking out ain't no option. I'm inviting them all.
This brother first and then this brother.
Peace.
Oh, everybody give it up. Oh, he's just Hakeem on stage, man. Brother Hakeem, go ahead, give it up for him.
I just wanted to mention along the lines of what Brother King Simon was talking about. We just put together online a multiplex cinema. I'm working with Mr. Clemson Brown. each one of these video producers, like Minister Clemson Brown, has their own cinema. So Minister Clemson Brown has his own cinema called Tap Video. Brother Sinetta has his own. Brother Azariah has his own. Brother King Simon, we're in the process of producing his own. And we set it up with residuals as well. The way it's set up is so that we sell tickets. You could view the whole video or DVD online. And we have an affiliate program, so that if you send anyone to the mall, the multiplex cinema, and they view anything, you receive a 20% commission. And if that person joins to become an affiliate, you receive 5% of whatever they do.
Give that out, brothers.
All right? Go to worldfairmall.com. That's worldfair, F-A-R, mall, like shopping mall.com. We also have an online shopping mall with 24 stores inside there so far. So if you have a business, we try to get everything under one umbrella and put everything in the affiliate program, so that if you send anyone to the mall, if they buy anything, you receive a commission. And even if you have a business in the mall, you send somebody to the mall, even if they don't buy from you, they buy from another business, you still get a commission. So this way, everybody's making money.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, so we setting this up. Minister Clemson Brown wants to set up something within that, where each particular person, like Dr. Ben and so on and so forth, they have their own section, and if you view their videos, they get a percentage of that.
Beautiful.
So we're in the process of setting up that particular thing. Again, you go to worldfairmall.com, and we setting this up, and eventually what we want to do is live video streaming, so that we could take an event like this and broadcast it all over the world live in real time. All right, so please work to support it.
Astute historians in our community, that brother Hakeem Bey is what has some of the most powerful information. Y'all need to definitely network with this brother about information surrounding our ancient Atlantean, Lemurian, Moorish paradigm.
That's right.
And the brother has that information. I would definitely suggest also you need to get with Ashira.com, Ashira at earthlink.net for the Shrine of Ma'at. And she's going to be dealing with sovereignty,
And back to the metaphysics.
back to the metaphysics,
Preparation for 2012.
preparation for 2012, and her number is 718-712-0069. That is the Shrine of Ma'at. Internet. The email is better. All right? Email is better. Don't bother her unless you got something to say.
He does call you back.
All right? In the back? Yes. Oh, that's right. I had this brother first. I'm sorry.
You said on one of your DVDs that you need $5,000 or something like that to get some information by Monday. Yeah, on one of your DVDs. I wonder if you got the information.
Say that again?
You said on one of your DVDs you need like $5,000 to get some information by Monday.
Oh, never got it. Never got it. It's the situation folded at the point where I thought I would be getting the $5,000. Didn't get it.
Well, you all can get y'all stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Angelic stimulus checks before y'all leave.
All right, we got 4 more questions. Yes. Yes.
First, I want to say thank you for both the masters being present. This is very prominent moment. I wanted to ask on both, your avenues of expertise, what you think will be coming to the earth, what will be happening on the earth, in the present moment and in the present future.
Well, anything that you see that you have this despair, there's always something behind that that's optimistic. Ultimately, man, ain't that ironic? First time I get a cell phone, I get a damn call. But I got this set up the same one time, and it cuts off. But there's optimistic stuff that's going on every day. You can look at it in nature. You can even look at it the demise of the news. I mean, you just have to peer through. And what I'm saying is, just like they had this guy from South Carolina when they extended They extended unemployment in South Carolina. It extended it all over the country. The guy in South Carolina decided that he wasn't going to extend it. A month after him deciding he wasn't going to extend it, he gets caught with some girl down in South America and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So my thing here is all kind of things is actually happening. Like I said, if you listen to my lecture last night, I was talking about this whole angelic thing that's going on. I mean, you know, and it's a work in progress. You know, things that's happening that's concurrent with the stuff that's happening with the destructive things that's actually happening. There's always two aspects. There's always a bigger picture and stuff like that. You know, so it's a kind of vague question for question and answer.
It is, but what you're going to say is that there is a alchemist creed to build by destruction, but by destruction to build. So old paradigms can't be built upon ones that's existing already. Everything got to come down.
There you go.
If it does not come down, then the stink, you understand, begins to create a whole other creature. And if you live amongst stink, you don't know you stink anymore. You just become the stink. So either it got to die and the cancer got to die out with it for a new thing to come. And it's going to happen. This dude, Roland Emmerich, is putting together this thing called 2012. And notice that everything now is about pure, utter destruction. There's no movie out there that ain't dealing with Armageddon on every one of their issues. They are preparing your mind for cataclysm.
Yes.
And England itself, England itself, the continent is sinking. They're losing beach. Trinidad is losing beach. The whole topography of the planet is getting ready to change. Global warming, that's a lot of bullshit. Don't go for it. Because the earth constantly changes. You understand? It will constantly change. It will change when we're gone. Okay? We are here. This is school. This is a plan. It's a little plan. What's a little plan in French? It's a planette. And that's what we are, on a plan. And certain people are here to do graduate studies. And that's what we're here to do. Graduate studies. Because we're about to graduate out this paradigm. Now, if you want to come back and live another cycle around Alcyon to come back around to this point to hear this same shit again, it's on you. But guess what? I'm the fuck out of here. When the flip comes, when the nexus comes, when the quickening comes, that's it. Because you're here to focus yourself now in spiritual work. You see, all this fighting and killing, that stuff, that's the other side of the planet. That's their karma. That's the shit they got to do. It's about to visit us. But you see, we have this thing that even if they take us all out, and they're going to be leaving in bunches, you're going to be seeing groups of people leaving. Because they're making way. They're actually making their transcendence. And you can't make your transcendence while you're in the body unless you're sitting up on a fucking mountain in a lotus position. And that's all you're going to do. There is a shift that's happening, but it first has to happen in consciousness. You have to change your cellular dynamics. Once you change the cell and give them a whole new programming, then your body begins to feel and act differently. But if your mind is still caught up in the everyday bullshit of this paradigm, you will be stuck here and your cells will be keeping that program in place. You see, so the people who always talk about what you do in the metaphysical community don't understand that that's where the change begins. On the invisible realm, on the realm of cause, on the realm of the metaphysical. You understand? They are too feminized. They are looking at all kinds of material shit and believe this is real. But we deal in the metaphysical realm. You understand? That's the God realm. That's the invisible realm where the Creator is. So if you don't know how to interpret the language of the invisible realm, you can't debunk it because you don't know what the fuck it means. It's like me talking Yiddish, or somebody talking Yiddish to me, and I pretend that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Oh, that ain't shit. I don't know. They ain't saying shit. How you know what they say? Because you don't know what the fuck they're talking about. If you don't know what the person in metaphysics is talking about, how are you going to debunk it and call it metaphysical mumbo jumbo? Yeah. That's the same as the fox and the grapes. You don't know what the fuck is going on, so obviously the grapes must not taste good. You don't know what metaphysics is, so you're going to debunk it. You don't have the brain cell to catch on to the abstract knowledge, so you're going to debunk it. You understand? But I can sit toe-to-toe with somebody like an Oyibo and not know shit about mathematics or physics, but have a conversation with him because I'm a metaphysician. And when he speaks his mathematical language, metaphysics can translate it. And he and I became fast friends because we were talking the same language. He didn't know nothing about metaphysics. He talked, I understood. I talked, he understood. But that's what metaphysics is. It's dealing with creating new paradigms. It's creating and projecting new visions for us to catch up to. It's the visionaries that keep the planet moving forward. If we don't give the planet and the people a vision, they don't have shit. And the metaphysics is what keeps you motivated to examine yourself. See, the reason why they debunk metaphysics is because when you got a religion up against metaphysics, the religion loses. Because metaphysics gets you to analyze God without the name they give you to say is God. And once you say God is Allah or Jesus, you're already using somebody else's paradigm structure of God. So how the hell are you going to know God personally? You can't call God Jesus and say you know him personally, because that ain't the name you're supposed to give to it. When you go inside of yourself and you find out the God self, you name God then. Because then you would have a real personal experience with it. So I can call God anything I want. And that's what scares them, because you see, these people like Mali Muhammad know that after me and Bobby has been on the scene for the last 20 years or so, the recruitment of those paradigms go down. The young brothers in the colleges who would be going to these institutions and religions are looking at the tapes and beginning to ask questions. So nobody want to hear about the way you call God or talk about God. I want to be able to use my mind to access the Creator itself without you telling me what the Creator is about. And that's what we're doing. We are co-opting religion so that you can understand and understand spirituality. And spirituality is what the next paradigm is about, not religion.
The importance of us having altars and communicating with our ancestors.
Well, communicating with the ancestors, you can communicate with the ancestors looking in the mirror. Because you are the ancestor. The lineage and the lines that we take on are consciousness lines. Just like cell lines create arms, cell lines create eyes. Well, we are on a cell line right now of consciousness. And so no matter what we do, we are the ancestors. In fact, the little baby, that little boy is older than his father.
That's right.
That's why you hear the child is the father to the man. He don't teach him how to be a child, but the child teaches him how to be a father. Wow. And you understand that that's the reason why homosexuality. You read the Pymander by Hermes Trismegistus, wrote a book called The Pymander. And he told you why homosexuality comes about. Homosexuality comes about because you did not have a child. You did not have a child in this life. Why? Because when you have a child, it fixes your gender. It fixes your property of masculinity as fatherhood, femininity as motherhood. So when you have a child, that child teaches you the feminine part of yourself, which is motherhood. When you have a child, that child teaches you fatherhood, which fixes you as a man. So your masculine feature and your feminine feature are fixed by the fruit. And that fruit teaches you who you are. So when you don't have that teacher, there's nothing to fix you. So you come back with an ambiguous nature, easily vacillating between gender energies. Read the Pymander and see what I'm talking about. Got two more. There's a brother in the back. Yeah.
I want to touch on what you were talking about, conscious community being visionary. I have a lot of conversations with my brothers. And within the community, you got artists, all kind of creative people, musicians, writers. I want you two brothers to kind of like give, because y'all are the teachers and we're the students, but a lot of people don't know
and they don't know that they don't hear it from y'all, that y'all giving them the go-away to take a lot of the information that y'all been breaking down for all of these decades and to turn it into art. You understand? Like, start writing movies, writing books, writing things of that nature, because that's what the Caucasians have done. George Lucas's, Spielberg's and everything sat at the feet of the masters, and they translated these stories into all of these wonderful mythos and whatnot that we follow now. So what I'm saying is we have libraries of knowledge that we have to begin to interpret, and that's how we feed the youth. But I think that they want to hear that from y'all first.
Well, I don't like to put off 10 years what you could do now. That's the problem. We put this stuff off on the youth. We just sit on our ass. So I'm a firm believer not talking about no youth from no 10 years from now. How this is done here is that you got people in position now that need guidance. Out here, there's all kind of people that's in film school, and all kind of people that's, that's artists that's doing comic books and stuff. What they need to do is be inspired to use the talent that we have right now, not some concept or some person, you see what I'm saying, that ain't even gone through puberty yet. You don't know what the hell, they might not even be here 10 years from now. So that's the problem. We keep putting this stuff off on the youth, and we need to access the talent that we have now. And so what you have to do is, there's all kind of people, I meet them all day long. Some people call, they got people, there's one brother called me from, he works for Industrial Light and Magic out in the Presidio out in San Francisco. And he calls, but the point here is, and they need guidance. So what they need here is they need the people that's it's like a network. You have a group of people that you know that's doing certain things, but because you have learned this consciousness, you need to feed it to them. And you don't have to worry about it because because the way the spirit will work, you don't have to worry about it. They're going to have to accept this particular consciousness as becoming a medium, because they're going to get writer's block if they don't do it. You see what I'm saying? The terrain of ideas are going to run out. You see what I'm saying? You can tell that now based on them doing the same movies every 5 days. Every summer we get the same movie in the same plot. They have hit the wall, the proverbial wall. So it's going to happen, but the people that's connected in that type of industry, that's where you come in. You've learned this particular consciousness. Now you got to convey that particular consciousness to those particular people that's struggling with it.
And that's the same thing. He's hitting it right on the head. Anybody ever seen the movie feature Underworld?
Yes. Yeah.
That was brother Nkosi back there, who is my scout right there. I want y'all to bring it up for him. Give it up. Bring it up. This brother has constantly been on the scout for me, sending me back information. He's been instrumental in bringing me some information that I've been putting it out to you. He sent me something that showed me that the Underworld characters were written by a brother. The brother who played the werewolf was the writer. Y'all saw Underworld? The big brother with that powerful voice? He's the writer. And if you notice, he was writing about the conditions of slaves. He put our paradigm into the story of the werewolves and made it a thing called the Lycans versus the vampires. But of course, the vampires being the sophisticates, the lords of Europe versus the slaves. You understand what I'm saying? So he put that in there, like you're saying. He made it creative, and they bought it. We can do the same thing. I mean, we got a pantheon of gods, and the stories are incredible. We can put that into a genre that the children would definitely love and would be a lasting teaching mechanism for them. Most definitely.
And let me tell you what happened, okay? Everybody saw Jill Scott in the #1 ladies detective agency, which was a best-selling book.
Right.
Yeah.
Which had these white producers. I thought it was pretty good myself.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, anytime they give you something from Africa, you never had that before. I mean, whatever it is, if they just sit on a log for an hour, don't say nothing. That's great. We don't know, they don't give us this stuff. So I don't critique this stuff when it's coming that way. But these producers piggybacked off of this, and do you know why they even produced that in the first place?
Right.
Because Number one still in movies is Hollywood. Number two is Bollywood, which is India. Guess what number three is? Nigeria. What they call it? Nollywood. Nigeria is number three in the world. So don't think that because they put this Jill Scott on, they're trying to tap into an energy that's already there and trying to tap into a demographic that's number three in the world. That is the reason why that was being produced, and they even went to Africa to do it. You see what I'm saying? So my point is that should be some inspiration to say that Nollywood, or the Nigerian film system, is number three on the planet. Wow. That should be some inspiration to say that we don't have no problem getting up off our ass and doing something. We've been in show business for years in creativity. You see what I'm saying? So they should, the Nollywood should be an inspiration to say that all you got to do is focus the energy. It's already happening. And Jill Scott, that show was proof that that's what was going on, and you're going to see more of that too.
Yeah, show you that real quick.
I wanted to ask you numbers. I don't know if you ever saw the movie 23. And was it?
It could have been better.
Knowing.
Knowing.
Numbers play a major part in life. I've had experiences with certain numbers and I followed them. Can you elaborate on that? I know it's a universal.
Well, again, as you condense down from the Creator's center, and the Creator is a negation. It's not an outward expression. Think about it as you got to reverse your field of thought. The Creator did not create outside. There's no outside to the Creator. The Creator negated upon itself, and negated upon itself 10%. Okay, that 10% is the infinity, is the hologram that we know as infinity, or the infinite potential. As infinite potential emanates from a center outward, it resonates at slower and ever slower degrees until it reaches to what we see as dimensional representations of that frequency. So the more we get away from the center of the emanated energy, we start getting into the energy breaking down into different fractions and branching off. And that's when we start to see the multiplicity of the one become evident. What was implied now becomes expressed. And the expression of what was implied takes place in the form of angles and mathematical equations that we see coming together as life. So number is always invested in everything that we do. And you could find a specific set of numbers when it comes to life. That's what they've been doing with the human genome project. It was a number project. It was about finding out how many of this they have and how many of this they have. And once they have codified how many black people, and that's what they found out, that the black people in Sudan have 9 strands of DNA, where the rest of the world have 6. And that's why they're trying to kill off them Sudanese.
No, all the Africans below the Sahara.
Yes.
And the reason below the Sahara, because North Africa's primary invaders.
Yes.
A study was done at Yale University. 15 geneticists from around the world.
That's right.
But all of us have 9
strands of DNA.
And it's critical, because to understand that, you have to look at, like, in the ape family, there are 3 species of ape. The orangutan, he has 1 DNA series. Pretty smart fella. The gorilla, 2 DNA series. He's smarter than the orangutan. You can teach him to cut on the computer and, so forth. The chimpanzee has 5 DNA series.
They got one of them can do calculus.
He has 5 DNA series, and you can teach him to type up to 200 words. Then comes the white man with 6 DNA.
That's right.
So if you look at the difference between the chimpanzee and look at the difference between the chimpanzee with 5 DNA series and the white man with 6. Look at the difference.
Yes.
You got 9. But you ain't using them.
That's right. Or you are being.
But look at the difference.
That's right.
We got 3. They're spiritual. Everything they're talking about.
That's right.
It's the God within you. It's going into your essence. You have melanin.
Yes.
It picks up the signals, the waves. We're talking about the work of Professor Gabriel Ebo, one of the brightest men on the planet. It's like an AM signal, an FM signal. You can pick up an FM signal which has a higher vibration than an AM signal. It's clearer, etc. The universe is waves. Everything is transmitted through waves. You have the potential of picking up the equivalent of a much higher wave. Europeans with 6 DNA can't pick up. That's why our music, our rhythm, everything is different. But we're out of ourselves. We're complete. You got somebody else's name, you got somebody else's culture, you got somebody else's every damn thing. When you come back to yourself with this knowledge, you will pick up vibrations which will carry us through a survival of what's coming. Because the God in you awakens.
We got to get ready to go. Mr. Brown has said something pertinent because the 6 from the 3 represents that 3-sided pyramid that we're talking about, a crystalline pyramid matrix that they do not have. And that connects us to spirituality. That's why the white man creates religion.
Right.
Because religion is a 6-strand invention. And his attempt to bring that 3-band strand together is the Abrahamic triad. He is trying to link together a spiritual vortex between Christianity, Judaism, and Islam so that he can knit the other 3 that he has, which is the control paradigm. He's using it as a control paradigm. So when we're dealing with higher spirituality as people, we are dealing from a perspective of not only melanin, but from a connection inside of our pineal glands and around our pineal glands that he has no access to. His is flaccid. His pineal gland is surrounded by a coating of material that blocks the energies, blocks his ability to pick up higher signals. We do not. Sister, you had something to say?
Well, I just wanted to say in reference to the DNA that it's evidence in the hair follicle of the European is a 6, as you saw on
Yes.
we
have 9.
The omen. They showed
Yes.
that, and I always have a 9 as, you know.
Yes. Ours curls the other way. His curls into the 6. Ours curls into the 9. If 6 were 9. So understand that we're talking about the Cancerian energy, which is the mother energy again, which goes back to the mitochondria, because that's what the cancer is. The symbol for cancer is the mitochondria of the female. Well, anyway, we're going to get into that. It's getting too deep and we're getting late. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming
These brothers came a long way. The overhead on these events are tremendous. Hotels, air flights. Before you leave, I don't care what it is, throw something at us. Talk about me, I don't care. My landlord is looking for me because I love this stuff.
And another announcement, if you have garbage, take your garbage with you.
That nigga was a saboteur. That nigga, when that nigga was up before that press club, that nigga was actually sent there. Because remember now, the press club, he got to go to the press club based on one black woman that Hillary Clinton knew that had the connection to the press club.
And his people told him not to go, am I right or wrong?
Yeah. You see. He ain't got to tell him, he know goddamn well that ain't nothing he gonna do. They gonna give him a shit. And he done talk all that shit about white people. They gonna give him a fair press club. But it wasn't even that. When the nigga got there, the nigga started acting crazy. You didn't see the motherfucker?
Yeah.
Acting all stupid.
a lot of people only talk about how crazy he was acting, and only after that I noticed Hillary, I guess it was a debate, and she drilled and she was like, I want you to say that you're not part of him. And Obama said it, but I noticed it's only, I believe it's only after when he started acting like the fool, like you said.
He had to denounce him after that.
Because now you acting like a fool.
Yeah, so my point here, he was paid off to do that. That part, he was paid off to do that.
All right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
See, I'll be honest with you. In order for that shit not to be effective, you just simply stay out of sight.
Out of sight, out of mind. Right.
If that nigga wouldn't have